What's up, everybody? You remember us? We're back for episode 76 of the Pitsdde podcast. It's a loaded episode. We're going to talk a little bit about the summer season and then all the new information about your fall season that we're just starting now. It's good to be back, and we'll get started here in just a minute.
Welcome to the Pitsdde Podcast, where we discuss the latest news and developments in the Coast2Coast Racing League, as well as other racing news inside and out of iRacing. Here's your host, the A-Let Outlaw, Preston Cranmer, and Roger, the Bassman, Craig.
Yep. So we're back. It's been a great summer. It's been a while. I think I know this has definitely been the longest time we've ever had between podcasts.
Yeah.
And it's been a little bit strange.
I missed you, brother. I mean, we're used to sort of getting together every week, and we don't normally talk as much as we used to. So, it's been a long summer that way, and busy, but really no time for the podcast. You were away. You've been get your racing career going, and I was down for 2 weeks with COVID. So I mean, there was a bunch of stuff going on, but. Yeah, it's great to be back. It's good to get back in the seat here and do this thing.
Well, and I'll tell you, if anybody's watching this for the first time, which I'm sure, considering the time there's probably a few of you, from personal experience hosting this, I can't tell you, I didn't realize how much information I get from hosting the podcast because I felt like I was in the dark. I'm constantly sending messages asking for clarification to either Roger or people on my team. Like, it's just a totally different experience racing in the league, not having this information. So I imagine there's a few other guys out there that felt a little bit in the dark as well.
Yeah. No, it's I think we needed the break in a lot of ways. We got some great ideas going forward here, and we got Cody coming along that is going to help out, which is going to be a great thing too. So and what episode is this?
This is episode 76.
Yeah, unbelievable, man. 76. So we'll rock and roll, and hopefully we can chug these out pretty much weekly, and look forward to being back and doing the podcast again and getting a whole bunch of guests on.
Yeah, and so again, I think just because it's been this amount of time, I want to reiterate something that we've said many times before. If you're interested in being on the podcast, particularly if you've been in the league for a while and we've never had the opportunity to talk to you, send Roger or I. You can send the league a message on Facebook. Get in touch with us. We'd love to talk to you. We try to foster the community and get to know everybody. So having an interview on the podcast is a great way to get your sponsors some attention and all that different stuff. So come hang out with us. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, and and you don't realize it at the time, but I mean, we've gotten to know a lot of drivers just through doing the interviews. Like guys that they're a name on the track or a number, and you get to see meet the personality. So I mean, I've thoroughly enjoyed all the guys we've met, and some great personalities. That's for sure.
And I don't have data to support this, but I'm going to go out on record and say I believe that you're probably less likely to get intentionally run into if people get to know you on the podcast. So give yourself some insurance and then get on here and talk to us.
Yeah. I think that's a good point. All of a sudden you can put a face to the name and and know a little bit about the guy, and I think that's always good.
Well, and particularly in my case, most of the time I'm finding out that these guys are a lot bigger and stronger than I am. So I know I need to be nice.
Now, in my case, it's also younger. They're pretty much all younger. So, anyways, so one of the things I want to bring up just before I forget, because at my age, if you don't do that, and half the time you can't remember a guy's name, but I was racing through Jim Bowie. So Jim Bowie is going to be 80 next June. I don't know the exact date. June 22nd. So Jim Bowie was born in 1943. So anyways, Jim is going to be 80. So we're going to have a race in, we'll let him pick the track in the car. He's always a lot of fun. And he's good. Like he's a pretty good racer, man. And especially on the asphalt stuff. So
I've only had the privilege of I've only had the privilege of racing with Jim once. He just happened to stop by, and Terry and I were in a midget race, and he came in and had never run midgets before.
I
And
saw that, I think, yeah.
just came in and hung out, and we had a blast.
Oh,
We
yeah.
had such a good time goofing off with him, and I think me and Terry all give each other a hard time pretty much throughout the race, especially if it's just him and I. And I think
Yeah.
he got a little entertainment out of that too. So
Oh, yeah.
it was a good time. I'm looking forward to that.
No, he's a great guy. So we'll have to next summer we'll be doing something for him for sure. But yeah, a lot of great characters in the league, and everybody you get to meet, they're very very cool. So we look forward to that. But hey, let's do a bit of a summary here. I think with the summer season, summer season was actually pretty well attended for the most part. There was a few low car counts, but we expected that. And next summer we might cut it back a little bit more, just to keep the more popular divisions going. But membership continued to rise. I mean, as we're speaking now, the fees are due tonight, guys. This is playing on Sunday, midnight tonight. You gotta have your fees in. But before that happens, we're up to like 179. Like, and speaking of the fees, like we've had 10 guys join this week, like new guys. So it's just the league just you and I created a monster, and it's just it's going crazy. So crazy good.
Yeah.
But so we had a good season, and I just wanted to summarize all the champions. Take a minute here. So Roadrunners, take a guess.
Bob Light.
Bob Light. I don't think he lost a race all season. He may have had 2 incident points. I know the other night, in the opening night, he had 2 incident points and did not lead the whole race. Barker was leading for a while. So
God must have been under the weather.
Yeah. Well, maybe, yeah. So just remember that name for a minute. Renegades, Patrick Spangler, and that was, I think, came down to the last night.
It did. Yeah.
It was a real good duel, and the Renegades this season. I was talking to a couple of guys just today. There's at least 10 guys that can win on any night. The competition is just so good, it's been awesome. And in the Rebels, Brendan Dittmer, I think it was 4 guys up that possible to win. And I think Dittmer might have been the trailer he might have been a 4th going into that night. But he pulled it off. Congratulations to Brandon on that. The Raiders, Isaac Salas won, and he's a dirt modified guy, so that was him out of his element.
Yeah.
But his IL isn't good enough to transfer up. It was a struggle. We didn't know if we were going to give him a trophy until the end of the last night, because he was struggling to keep his IL below 0.25. But he did, but he didn't get it down low enough to transfer. So that'll be his challenge for this season.
I just want to point out now that when we had Isaac on the podcast, I don't remember when exactly it was. He was just starting to foray into sprint cars, and it wasn't a year ago, that's for sure.
No,
so he's come a long ways, to win a championship in that amount.
Oh yeah, and he's on the broadcast on Monday nights, and those guys do a great job, and he's usually racing home. I think he's got like over an hour drive to get home. And he's always struggling to get home in time for the race. So, anyways, congrats, Isaac. The UMPs, a common name, Nick Vickery. Hometown Heroes 305s, Blake Chapman. I think Blake got shut out last spring season. I'm not sure. You might know better than me. But Blake, rose to the occasion again. He had gone for some holidays, too, so he took himself out of a couple of other possible championships.
Yeah.
Veterans and first responders was Patrick Spangler again. And the limited 360s. We had the limited 360s. It was people who were under 2,500 I rating and hadn't won a feature the previous season. Jeff Kemper won that. So it was good to see Jeff. Jeff was very consistent right through that whole summer season. So good on Jeff. And then wingless, Jack Hitt. He he won, which was always good to see. And the 410s, and Patrick Spangler again. And then small block and big block, Nick Vickery. So Nick had committed himself, I think, to the Thursday nights and that those UMP races, and and I know the one wasn't even a contest. He was far out. Kurt Schatzer defended his pro late model um, title, but that was down to the last night as well. And matinee races, Patrick Spangler won the 360s, Greg Boydell the 305s, Brandon Templeton the 358s. And the retreads on both dirt and asphalt, two different divisions for retreads, Greg Boydell. And then the pickup cup was Greg Boydell. Xfinity Cup and Next Gen Cup, Bob Light. So Bob is still on the asphalt, started getting into the NASCAR stuff, and now it's him and McLaren that are always sort of up there. So anyways, that's congratulations to all those winners. It was a great season. One unfortunate part is that Andy's kind of left us. It wasn't a personal thing. I think Andy was getting frustrated, racing, and I mean, he did so much for us, the trophies, admitting, everything else. But I think he's kind of needed a break, and he walked away from not only iRacing, like not just league, but iRacing and his flight sim stuff. So I think he's just taking a break, and I've talked to him. He seems to be in a good place these days, and looking forward to the hunting season. So can't say enough about Andy and everything he did. I mean, the trophies, I could show you a couple right here. But this awesome job, he just incredible job, and we've got a few things in the works. I'll maybe touch on that in a bit. I guess I could touch on it now, but we're trying to come up with something to. Nothing will ever replace Andy's trophies. I mean,
No.
But we're looking at a couple of things. The guys have been voting. And we're looking at like an acrylic, embossed thing. I don't know what you would call that. And then also rings. So not sure what we're going to do yet. We're just kind of the season's been so busy starting that I just put that on a back burner, and we'll get that sorted out. But
You Leafs fans will do anything for a ring, won't you?
Yeah, there you go. 50 years, man. 50 years. I remember those times. I've been there for Leaf. I've been there for Man on the Moon and for a Leafs Stanley Cup. But so it was a great season. We were a bit saddened, I guess, but not surprised. John Short, who he started in the third recruiting race. I mean, he goes right back to the beginning with a number of us, and he set up the whole review committee, the whole process. I don't know how he's done it all these years. I've expected him to pack it in a few seasons ago. He's so busy at work, and now he's starting a family, and congratulations to John and Katie, with their baby girl that they just had. But John had let me know in John's way. John let me know midway through last season that he would be stepping down. But John Hine, he's groomed John Hine to step into his role. Brandon Templeton is stepping into John's role, and Shorty had all the templates ready, and so absolute smooth transition. So can't thank Shorty enough, for. I mean, he'll still be on the track racing with us, but he put hours in. I don't think anybody would ever understand just how much time he put in. And for a young guy who didn't have a lot of time on his plate, it was amazing. So, thank you, John. The whole league appreciates what you've done. I don't think enough people appreciate what you've done, but there's a number of us who, I mean, at least have an idea, but just been a great job. So I want to thank John and welcoming John Hine, into the new role. So that's been a totally smooth transition, which has been great.
For sure, and just want to point out. I mean, I think it's easy to kind of miss because at this point we've been doing this a while, but Shorty has too, right? And our league would be totally different place without a lot of the stuff he did and the work he put in. So if you guys have a chance to give him a pat on the back or say thank you, please do, because we wouldn't be here otherwise.
No, it's extensive. I mean, it goes to, the whole G Drive and how it's set up and all the directories for the replays and the reviews. And then, the spreadsheets that the reviewers go through. And then the pit notes, all of that, and the last few seasons, like, they were always out on time. And it's just absolutely, like, it's mind-boggling. And it's just something, that as an owner of the league, like, this just happens, it's just, it's a wonderful thing. It just happens. And I've never, they've been empowered and they run with it and they've taken full ownership. And, it's just been a great thing. And it is truly the foundation of the league.
Yep.
It really is. So, anyways, thanks, Shardy. Appreciate it, man. But yeah, the fall season, it's, we're only into like first part of the week, and it's been phenomenal. I want to welcome a few new sponsors. How about All About Tie-Dye? Hey, so this is All About Tie-Dye out of Liberty, Missouri. And it's Bob DeGood's better half owns that business, and it is the official tie-dye of the Coast-to-Coast Racing League. So thanks, Bob. So something I want to do, and Preston and I haven't even discussed this, but this season I really want to work on the store. That was, once we get the season going, and bring in like products like this where there'd be a link to All About Tie-Dye where if people wanted to order or see what they had to offer, we'll get them involved. So just want to thank Bob and her name slips me right now, my apologies. But I just want to thank the two of them for stepping up. They're sponsoring the Roadrunners. So kudos to both of them, and love the shirt. So thank you very much. We just had a new one come on board, Ace Designs. So it's one of our new drivers, and Team Ace is behind that as well. But Ace Designs is going to sponsor the Hometown Heroes 305s, but they do renderings. So the best way to describe it, I did a Facebook post with a few of his renderings, but it's kind of like if you've seen the Coke iRacing series, and they have all those cars, the NASCAR cars, in like showrooms and all that sort of stuff. That's what he does, and it's pretty spectacular. And we'll have an announcement coming up pretty shortly about some special offerings that we're going to have for to do with that. So I want to welcome them aboard. And want to welcome the Salty Dogs. Salty Dogs will be sponsoring the Hometown Heroes 360s. And want to thank Bill Calder. Bill Calder's actually the money behind that. So the Salty Dogs has been a great group of my peers, I guess I could say. And the Salty Dogs, anytime you see that dog logo, it's kind of like when you see a farm tractor with the caution sign, just...
You're going to be late for work.
Yeah. So you could be late for work.
So Salty Dogs, new sponsor, but they've been around a while. I guess
we've been around a while. Yeah, it's really a bunch of old guys that, especially in the matinee races, we hung out in the same Discord room, and it's kind of like, hey, we should be, racing as a team. I mean, we all enjoy each other. So we race for a dog. If there's 3 or more drivers, we race for a dog bone. So there's always like a winner. We very, very rarely get to the podium or anywhere near it. If we get a top 10, it's a reward. So this is our own race within a race. So it's kind of funny. You look at the qualifying, and it's all the Salty Dogs at the bottom usually. But hey, whoever's on the top of that list is kind of got his chest out and kind of proud because he's.
Now, are y'all putting the bones on your wrap somewhere?
Well, I know Joe Canals has them. He has a bunch of bones. There's a lot of bones handed out every week. There's also we just come up with the gold bone. So Bill Calder just won a gold bone where there was like 8 of us in a race. So and he finished ahead of all of us. So he won the gold bone. But yeah, we're working on a few wraps and stuff like that to to kind of unify the team. We got a few things coming down the pipe. You better just stay tuned, and there will be lots to announce.
All right, and so I reckon when you guys accidentally, of course, make contact with somebody, we'll refer to that as being boned.
You could call that boned, and then there's also the boner of the week, and so we're having a great time. If you saw our message thread, it's great. There's howling dogs in there all the time, and if somebody wins a bone, and then there's a bunch of howling dogs. Anyways.
All right, well, we might have to charge the salty dogs a little extra for this, but I tell you, I want the bone count on the podcast.
Well, we could do that. So there is a Facebook page, Salty Dogs. It's called the Doghouse, and we're posted. Bill Calder's going to be posting. Bill doesn't have enough to do. Bill's going to be posting all the bone results. Everybody's best bones, and
This is dangerous, man.
It's getting dangerous. Yeah, boner of the week. So, anyways, so we've had a good time with that. That's for sure. And anyways, enough said about that. We'll be talking about them, I'm sure, throughout the season. The driver's fees, they're due tonight. So that same guy I mentioned, Trigger Finger Bill, he is dying to delete guys. Don't ask. He just gets some sort of personal jolly out of this or something, right? So make sure your fees are in, or you'll be deleted. Even though he's got to if you apply the next day tomorrow, he's got to add it back in. But he had that joy of hitting delete, I guess. I don't know. He's a strange unit. I've known Bill for 50 years, and I do know he gets some sort of a backwards sort of joy out of doing this sort of stuff. So don't make his day. Pay the money, So it's $15 for the season, or $50. I remember it was Devo asked her, what could it be a discount? So what we did is we raised the monthly or the seasonal fee is $5, but we discounted the season to $50. So, anyways, that was Devo's idea. It was a great idea. So
everybody send your extra $5 to Devo.
Yeah. So a lot of guys.
Devo, you send a little to me.
A lot of guys are signing up for the 50. You don't have to listen to Bill and me. Beak off about get your money in, and you're good for a year. So. Anyways, it's been good.
Yeah, and if anybody's questioning whether that's worth it, I mean, it's obviously it's a personal decision, but I would wager that we have a better retention rate than a lot of leagues out there. Most guys tend to hang around for a while, so save yourself the money. It's definitely worth it.
Well, that's crazy. I think we were talking just before we went on air that. In the last week of telling people to get your fees in, we've had like 10 new members sign up.
Mm-hmm.
Who didn't even hesitate for the $15. So, and I know of 2 leagues who they only have like 2 or 3 races one night a week, and they're charging $15, and nobody's hesitating. Like if you can get into a good quality league, I think and all that money. Just a reminder, all that money goes back. Is the feature stickers. Oh. Something that arrived this summer. This is a new arrival. So
there it is.
Driver of the Week mugs.
I was wondering why you didn't pull the trophies down earlier, and now I realize you were just waiting to show off the new hardware.
I was waiting to show off the new hardware. So and they've always been popular. I'm losing my train of thought here. So the $15, and then of course trophies are going to cost us a little bit more, now that Andy's out of the picture. So we were not covering it for the $10. We're hoping we'll cover it for $15, and if we don't, we'll make it work. But anyways, and if anybody's having like a financial issue, can't get the $15 right now. I mean, there's a lot of young guys in the league, and I've been there. I know how that works. Just contact me. We'll work something out. So, and another thing too is that if you sponsor or if you volunteer, it's free.
And we need those volunteers.
We need volunteers. So, it's just step up, man. We could really use your help. Where do you want to talk about now? Where do you want to go?
I want to talk about the new divisions, particularly because the one we ran on Tuesday night. Oh. But we should probably cover off the one on Monday first because that's a return as well, right?
Yeah. So It is a return. So the Rustlers came back. It was kind of like an 11th hour decision. We did have a, um, we went to the driver population to determine. It's a community league. We've always tried to do this. Let the drivers determine it. So we talked about Monday night being fixed or continue to be open because of the. Um, it's not a cheat. I can't remember what the word
Oh,
is, but the exploit.
yeah.
The exploit, the dirt, yeah. So, and for people who don't know what that it's, so there was people using a late model setup, making the sprint car lean right, which if it was on the track would roll over. So it's not a simulator sort of when that happens. There was some discussion on that, and that we brought that up. It was a healthy discussion. People voted, and so the Raiders and the Rebels will stay open. The
Renegades and Rebels will stay open.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Whatever I said.
Raiders moved to fixed.
Thanks.
And then we've added the Rustlers division.
And we added Rustlers 305 because some people did want a 305. You get those new drivers that maybe they're asphalt drivers or whatever, and we've got a few more of those. And they want to adapt. They want to put their foot in the water a bit. So fixed 305 is the way to go. And then also the Rustlers who can't maintain a .250 will have to go.
Right.
Raiders will have to go back to the Rustlers. But it's a unique thing right now, and I want people to understand, if you're in the Raiders or Rustlers, like if you're not in the Rebels list or the Renegades list, you actually have a choice. And as long as you keep your IL below 250, you can run the Rustlers and transfer to the Raiders, because we changed the one rule at those levels where as long as your IL's underneath 250, you can you don't have to finish top 10 every night. As long as your IL continues, so if you got wiped out, but your IL's still good, you can transfer up to Raiders. So why not run them both?
And you can also transfer up to Rebels as well, right?
You can and that's something we is you can transfer up to Rebels. You don't have to finish top 10 as long as your IL is below 250. So we're going to see how that goes. We might have to adjust it at mid-season. But anyways, so yeah, there's that. So the Rustlers are back. It's a division we've had in the past. There's sometimes not a lot of racers, but it's a place for guys who are not comfortable to run. And some guys may choose to run it to try to win a championship. So there's that too. So then, so that was the Rustlers division. Tuesday nights, so Tuesdays used to run Wednesdays. We flip-flopped because Hometown Heroes has gone back home to Wednesday nights.
Yeah.
So on Tuesday nights, it's Topside Tuesday. It used to be Topless Tuesday, but now we've got a few other divisions. So it's Topside Tuesday, and it's going to be midgets, and then 410s. Both last night, we're recording this on Wednesday. Great numbers, like good car counts, 18, I think, for maybe both of them. But then we decided we collapsed all the NASCAR matinees. There was a Friday pickups. We were getting some terrible counts. And then the Saturdays and Sundays, it was getting to that point where it's just hardly worth racing because there wasn't enough cars on the track.
Yeah.
So I thought, okay, we'll try it on a Tuesday night. Well, buddy, I think too. This is one of those things where when we decided to add dirt mods to our league when they first came out, one of the best decisions we ever made. And this is going to be another one of those. We had for the test run, we had 31 cars, and it's all guys. We went through this on Saturdays and Sundays. It's a learning experience, and so there's some growing pains with this thing. There's a lot of incidents, and so it's a bit of a shit show. You might call it, because there's a lot of cautions and stuff. So I thought, okay, maybe we'll get 20 this week. Well, opening night, 38 cars.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And the racing was still, guys just got to, it's going to get better. I personally guarantee it's going to get a lot better. But 38 cars, it was just, it's so much more simulation like the real thing, because, now you're in, it's hard to get that lucky dog, and
oh yeah,
there's more strategies involved in just trying to stay out of trouble. So, but man, it was phenomenal. And you set a record already for the most height gained.
Yeah, I'm telling you. So I do want to say I think the racing was better last night, if only slightly. It was better last night than the previous week. So if it keeps trending that way, it'll be by the end of the season, it's going to be something to see. But yeah, there was one accident I got caught in. I was trying to get from behind a guy who was kind of weaving a little bit, and we got tangled and spun around. And I actually thought I was going to hold the car straight enough to be able to get back to the pits for a fast repair. And then suddenly I just wasn't on the ground anymore.
Got launched.
I didn't hear the contact. I didn't, usually you feel in the force feedback. None of that happened. I was just spinning midair. And I was telling Roger earlier before we jumped on air, I've heard people say that they felt like they were going to get sick from the VR spinning around before, and it's never bothered me. But this was the only time I realized what was going on and had to slam my eyes shut, and just happened to open them right before I hit the ground. And it was a pretty wild scene. I probably shot up, 50, 60 feet in the air, if not more than that.
I think I was thinking like 200 or 300 feet.
Yeah, it could have been. I only saw it from my in-car, so.
Oh, you haven't seen the replay?
I've seen some screenshots, but they were all from strange angles, so I couldn't.
So I just saw it on the broadcast, caught it out of the corner of my eye. 200, 300, if not 500 feet you went up. I mean, it was just like you were launched. I mean, you just went.
I'm going to have to watch from the blimp cam and see if I went above the blimp.
Yeah, it was amazing. But it'll be a great celebration. And congrats, you were running really good up until that point. You were leading, and
It was fun. Lots of strategy in working with. Like, there were certain guys I'd find on the track that I knew they would work with me. And then the whole fuel strategy part of it I find very entertaining anyway, because you're constantly working it. So we've kind of started an Epsilon Sprint Wraps kind of house asphalt team now that we're running through this, and so we had a couple of teammates in the Discord with us, and we had our fuel window figured out for that last pit stop, and it was a ton of fun. I mean, we had a blast.
Well, you've got two of your buddies from Virginia, right, that are racing. We'll have to get them on the podcast. And,
we can definitely do that. It's kind of funny now. In the course of about 3 weeks, we've gone from Dad and I being kind of the hometown guys. We know another person in town that runs iRacing. And now there are a couple of guys, they don't live here, but they're from here too. So we've got a whole ALIT, not a big population. Oh. But so I'm hoping at some point to plan a Clarence versus Iowa.
Yeah.
Versus ALIT showdown.
So what's the population of ALIT?
A lot more than Clarence.
Oh, okay.
I don't know the exact population, but I can find out. But it's in the thousands, so.
Okay, there should be a grudge match coming in. That's pretty cool.
I think so.
Yeah, but anyways, the racing is there will be a real celebration, and it'll come soon when we have a green flag pit stop. That's the goal right now. That's the first, landmark.
I saw some green flag pit stops last night. Actually, I saw several.
Yeah, but not.
You mean for the field? I know.
Yeah, for the field. Yeah. So when the field has that, because there has not been a caution. That's what we're. That's the first goal we're trying to.
I really don't even think we're that far off.
But to win one of those, Tim Chapman, who is sponsored, like, kudos to Tim. It's Tim Chapman Racing now, not P.A. Fossey. We wanted to give him his credit, but he's covering that broadcast and stuff, and he won, so that was good to see. But to win or finish on the podium, that's an accomplishment when there's like 38 cars.
Yeah, and that's what I'm thinking. I think this is going to have a lot of power if we can keep that car count high, because it is. I finished 13th, and if I finish 13th on a Monday night, I am disappointed. I'm more than likely mad.
Yeah.
13th last night, I was thrilled. Like, there were wrecks and all that. You work your way back up through the field. It's a lot of fun. I think if we keep that car count high, I think even like broadcasting wise, we're going to start seeing big upticks.
Yeah. No, and we that's another point. We want to welcome Patrick Morrison and Zoom Tracks Broadcasting. He slid in. The first race he did as a test run during week 13. We decided to do it at 5 o'clock at night, and he was coming on at 7. So, he's not afraid to take his stuff on, and he's not a dirt guy. He's an asphalt guy. He's learning dirt. he's not afraid to take on the new challenges, and he's already fitting in. He's doing a great job, and had a lot of good comments about it. So I just want to welcome him to the team and the community.
Yeah, and we say it all the time, but we have a lot of our same broadcasters back this year, and just want to give those guys a pat on the back and wish them a good season. Really,
Yep.
we're privileged to have those guys.
We are, and I've never seen broadcasters work together like these guys do. And Patrick's another one of those guys.
Yeah.
They all benefit from the cooperation levels. That's for sure. It's been great. Um, but yeah, moving on. So Hometown Heroes is back to Wednesday night where it started, and Lucas Oil Speedway. We did a bunch of races last week, and we just came off tonight. I did not do well, but I struggle a bit at the track, but I love the track.
I like the track a lot too.
Yeah.
I got to run a couple of the test run races during week 13, and still working on finding that line, and
Yeah.
learning how the track wears in, because in my experience, it doesn't always wear in the same way, but there's a few different ways it wears in, and you have to figure out how to run those. And so you're still learning that a little bit, but it's a fun track to drive. It's really racy, and it seems to stay racy for longer periods of time than some of the other tracks, so that's been nice too. So hopefully I'll get out there with you guys on Wednesday a couple of times.
Yeah. There was some good racing tonight. I was just watching the broadcast of the big. So we've got the 305s, the 360s, and then big blocks have been moved to Wednesday night. And we're a little concerned how they were going to do. I watched the last race tonight, and they look pretty good. So hopefully that's all going to work out. But the track reminds me more of Ashweekend than any other track on the iRacing platform. It's got that fall off, now Ashweekend's much more pronounced, where it's a higher bank, and then it drops off, and it's maybe 100 feet to the hay bales. So like there's a big safety area, but like other than that, like you fall off like you would at Ashweekend, and it's the same size track, and it's pretty wide. So I think
it's very wide.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have some great racing there. So that's exciting.
Yeah, what really threw me when we first went out there the first time was the backstretch is basically, I think it's a backstretch. It's one of those straightaways, is like a hill. You go up the hill, it kind of peaks right in the center, and then you drive back down the hill.
I didn't notice that.
It's subtle, but I started noticing some changes in the engine noise as it slicked off, and started paying more attention to it. And it's pronounced, like you can visually see it too if you pay attention.
Yeah, we'll have to talk to John and see if he's driven that track. So is that a feature of that track or not? But yeah, it's the only thing I've had a hard time is it's hard to tell which end you're at. Like it's hard to tell 1 and 2 from 3 and 4, and there's a bit of a glitch with the pits. We're working around that, where it only opens up for about half a lap. So we've been telling guys, look, just as soon as if you're going in for repairs, as soon as the caution comes out, line up at the pits. Don't go in, but line up. And as soon as the pits open, go in. If you're coming, if you're in the wrong order, we'll clear the black flags for it. But that seems to be the best solution. Otherwise, too many guys are missing. It's happened to me last week. Too many guys miss getting in the pits. Now you're running around with a crippled car, which doesn't help anybody. I think it's going to be a good season for sure.
Yeah.
And then we haven't started yet. It's over now at the time of this broadcast, but Thursday Night Thunder. So it's UMPs, the 358s, and then the Pro Late models. So we've gone back to Pro Late models. So it's a great lineup. And then of course Friday Night Lights is back on Friday nights. Joe Halter's league, and they do a great job, and another great venue for guys to race if they're looking for more racing. And they're going to run the same cars as they ran last season. So the 305. So they start out with the I think they start out with 358s, and then they go to limited late models, and 305s.
Yeah.
And there's a couple things coming. I think Joe's announced it. They're going to run 2 or 3. They're trialing having like an open series for big blocks and is it late models, I think. Yeah. And they may run them early on Sunday. Try not to compete with Jeff's league, but I don't think it'd be an issue anyways. It's not the same drivers. Nobody runs one that runs the other, so
Yeah.
it shouldn't be an issue. But yeah, so Joe's been doing great stuff.
And you mentioned Sundays. Sundays is our road runners. It's a GT3 series. We rotate through some road courses. A handful of them are free. There are some paid tracks in there as well. But it's a really light environment. We leave mics unmuted, and we have some laughs here and there. And so if you're interested in road racing at all, even if you're not real experienced, please don't let that keep you from coming out.
Yeah.
We're willing to. Everybody out there is going to be willing to help you. We've got a couple of new guys in there now that are still kind of learning, and we're just all out there to have a good time and try to beat Bob Light. So that's what it's all about.
Yeah, we're still looking for that guy to give Bob a run. But yeah, that's a good point. You don't have to be skilled to run that. Guys are very understanding, and it's great. I mean, you got a choice of 8 cars. I try to get out whenever I can. It's a great venue, that's for sure. And Jeff Barker runs a great show.
Yeah.
I was talking about Joe Halter. And one of the biggest things coming, unless you're living under a rock, you should be aware of the World Finals that we're holding this season. So by far, I mean, we've raised $18,000 for charities to date. Pretty proud of that. That's actually the thing I'm most proud of with the league. But this is by far the biggest one we've ever had. $1,500 in prize money. We got a big shout out to Dirt Track Bank. We're going to try to get the bank manager on in the next week or two. But besides managing the bank, he's also a dirt car driver. So I'm sure it's going to be a real interesting interview. But kudos to those guys. Big prize money. It's going to be 360s, 358s, Pro Late models, 7 nights. It's going to be a great show. And to do it along with that is the Dirt Alliance. It's helped with run by the Dirt Alliance, which is basically Friday Night Lights and C2C. But one of the benefits of that is it's cheaper registration for the drivers if you're a member of one of those 2 leagues. But the other thing too is, and I don't think we've announced this anywhere, but there will be, each league will get a provisional for each division. So, for instance, for the 360s, what we will be doing is for the guys that are registered, once the finals have been determined, we will go to the standings of the Hometown Heroes 360s. The highest standing registered member will get a provisional. For the 358s, it'll be the Thursday Night Thunder 358s. Again, same thing, and the Pro Late models. And Joe's doing the same thing in his division. So, the Friday Night Lights, you get that one extra chance to transfer in. So through those provisionals. So that's one of the benefits of being in one of the 2 leagues, or join both leagues, and you have 2 chances at a provisional.
That's a cool idea. I like that.
Yeah. It was that was a new twist, and I think it makes it unique that and it's also a lot cheaper. And the other thing I want to mention is we haven't published its sizes a lot yet. It's on the poster. Thanks for doing the poster, by the way. But there's an early bird bonus draw end of September. I think deadline's October 2nd, and there'll be 100. Anybody's registered by then, there'll be 100 draw for $100. So that's kind of
2
cool.
years of membership, if you look at it that way.
2 years of membership, yeah. So you want get signed up early. Don't wait, because there's benefits of doing that. And then the regular early bird is the 16th of October, and And then after that, it goes up to $15 for one class and $30 for three. If you're not a member of either of the leagues, then you can still join, but it's $20 for one class and $50 for all three, and there is no early bird for them. So it pays to be in the league. I can see some guys joining the leagues just to benefit that, and I think there'll be a few guys that I know I will. I don't usually run Thursday nights, but I'll be running a few Thursday nights to get in the 358s and get into pro late models just to get some experience, because I do plan on running all three. There'll be the three champions of the three divisions, and then there'll be a world champion. So it'll be the combined finishes from those three final races, and there'll be a world champion, and there's a lot of prize money in there. So you really want to run all three, because you could win $250 if you're the overall champion.
So am I understanding that we could have 3 different divisional champions and a different world champion? Okay.
Yeah, you could have a guy say finish second in all three, or or finish fifth and third and second, but had the most total points. He'd be the world champion. So yeah, so cool. It's kind of cool. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be 7 busy days, but it's I like the way it's laid out. Yeah, you race one of the first 2 nights, your choice, and then you race one of the night 3 or night 4 as a second qualifier, your choice of which night you want to run. And then we get into the Soup Bowl and all that sort of stuff, so it's kind of crazy. And something we're going to try, Marty was asking about this, and I think it was a great idea, is the Thursday night, the championship runs. Before those runs, we're going to get as many 360s, 358s, and pro late models out to do a 4 wide. So just like the world finals. So that should be kind of cool. We'll do driver introductions and all that sort of stuff. So looking forward to the whole thing. That's for sure.
That's going to be a blast. And like you said, it's big money on the line this time, so that'll be a new twist as well. So tensions will be high.
We have never had payouts like this. I think maybe $300 we paid out. I don't know. I mean, and again, a reminder. 100% of your registration is going to. It's all for Mission 22. We missed that part. So it's coming up on Remembrance Day here, Veterans Day in the States, I think, right? On November 11th. Yeah. So it's for we always do it for the military. Then it's for Mission 22, and 100% of your registration goes to Mission 22, and a big part of all the sponsorships. Because the dirt track bank's stepping up, and they put up $1,000. That it's awesome. So it's allowed us to do this, and it should be by far the biggest fundraiser we've ever had.
Yeah, it's gonna be a big one. I think the 7 days in a row just alone is, I mean it's starting to feel like real world kind of dirt events to me, where we've got these kind of almost like crown jewels popping up, and there's new twists, but we've had King of the Wing a few times now, so it's good to get back to the big ones.
So there's we did Knoxville a week before the Knoxville Nationals, and this is I think just a few weeks before the World Finals.
Yeah.
So we're trying to piggyback on those, and you haven't heard it anywhere else yet, but we will be having a second special event just at the start of week 13, just a 2 or 3 night. Just talk about that a little bit more. But there's another one in the works, so can't wait to do that. But the World Finals, I mean, the focus. There's been a ton of work done. There's a committee set up working this thing. So we'll talk about more about that as every week on the podcast. We'll introduce a few new wrinkles that you're not aware of just yet. So it's going to be big. But the season this is an exciting season. Like Monday night for me, opening night. Well, I know the Roadrunners are like a soft opening, if you know what I mean. They open, but the Monday night thing. I mean, that's where we started on Monday nights, and they're exciting. They're exciting, and we had some good car counts Monday night. we've had good car counts all through. And I know typically you get the better car counts, but we're better than, we had 31 or 32 cars in the 360s tonight in Hometown Heroes. So, I mean, I went home. And and 38 cars for the NASCAR stuff. It's a big deal to make the feature, so with car counts like that. And we had a good car count for the big blocks, good car count for the 305s, and I'm sure tomorrow night 358s will be just, wall to wall, so it's all cool. I love that first week, and I'm committing to, I want to run a lot more than I ran in the summer. There's so much going on in the summer, I didn't get much chance. And I'm trying to run for points for a few of those.
Yeah,
not to win, but,
that's kind of where I am too. I kind of went through and looked at the schedule and just cherry picked a couple of the divisions where these are the ones that I'm going to focus on running so I can run for points. And then there's a couple others that I'll run when I can, and then others that everybody's going to appreciate that I don't show up.
Yeah, well, but then there's like you and Devo, suffered. You probably could have been transferring up to Renegades, but you just didn't race enough, So now you can get those races in, and I'm excited for it. It's going to be a great season.
Yeah, we'll see. We got a lot going on over here. Some of you guys may know that I have a collapsed hip. If you've talked to me in person, that's probably come up because I limp pretty bad. I've dealt with that for a couple of years, and been looking for a surgeon. So finally got that all taken care of. So looks like about 2 weeks now, I'll be having my hip replaced. So I don't know what that looks like yet. So I might be down. So we'll see. We'll see if I can get out of the Rebels again this season. But that's the goal.
Just getting in the seat. So I guess while we're talking about the health issues, I might as well fess up to. So I have surgery November 10th. So I got diagnosed in the spring with prostate cancer, and I know some people. Oh my God! I sort of known this is coming. Guys, get your PSA test done as you get older. It's really, really important. And get all those exams done. So I kind of knew this was coming. My PSA was creeping up, but so then I had to go for the biopsy, and we could talk about that one night. But but anyways, it wasn't a surprise. And if you're going to get a cancer, that's the one to get, because as I say, just hawk it out, right? Just get it out. So they're going to take it laparoscopically, because the guy I was going to see was a farmer type guy, and I just cut, So we're going to get it done. My big thing is I'm 72 years old. I've never spent a night in a hospital since I was born. I mean, how blessed is that, right?
Yeah.
And so there's a possibility when you get it done laparoscopically that you can be home that night, which is absolutely crazy. So that's my goal. I do not want to spend a night in the hospital. But anyways, so I think we're both we both got excuses for this season. So hopefully everything goes well with you.
Unfortunately, excuses don't equate to bonus points, so I'm still gonna have to try to force myself down in the seat.
Yeah. You're probably gonna have more trouble. So one of the first questions, he said you can't lift more than 10 pounds. You gotta take it easy and all this stuff. And so I said, okay, so I'm a gamer. 68, I became a gamer. Can I race? Well, what do you do to race? I said, well, you just driving the wheels. Yeah. Oh yeah, I might be back in the seat the next week, right? Which is awesome. So.
Well, I'll tell you, I specifically, this is like the old man hour during the podcast, but I specifically sought out a certain type of surgery called a direct anterior hip replacement, which means they go in a different way. They had to fold me up all funny, but they don't have to cut any muscle, tendon, nothing. They just go in. The only thing they cut is bone. So I am supposed to be up and walking the same day, and if I'm able to do stairs, then I'll be able to leave same day too. My father-in-law had the same thing done probably 4 or 5 years ago now. And I know he's a boat mechanic by trade, and he was back out working on boats the next day. So
Holy crap!
So I'm hoping for similar results. I know I'll have some physical therapy, but a lot of that's just because I've been limping for 2 years and need to figure out how to walk normally again. So
Yeah,
we'll see what happens. But
yeah. The danger with that is when you start favoring one, then you're putting stress on your other joints as well because you're not walking normal, right?
yeah,
So,
exactly. Yeah. And I deal with a lot of referred pain too, which has caused some problems. So anyway, enough misery.
Yeah. But we'll be talking about this more only because I think it's important to get this out there that it's not a death sentence and it's
oh, absolutely.
And it's you need to be proactive about these things and for me I just so I guess one of the benefits is for the first couple of weeks after the surgery I won't have to keep getting up for my pit stops. I can just sit here, just let it go, man. So there's benefits, side benefits to this. But
on a totally unrelated note, the Coast2Coast Racing League would like to introduce its endurance racing series.
I don't have to go anywhere. I can just sit in the seat and just keep on going. So anyways, it's all good, buddy.
Just
good.
please remember if you're gonna sigh at the same time, please put your microphone on voice activity. We don't want to hear that.
No. So anyways, it's it's a new season for me in that sense too. We and a new season for you. You take on these new challenges and and it's just and that's what it is. It's a new challenge and come out the other side and see what it looks like. So. Maybe I'll be faster. Who knows?
Yeah, there you go. That's something you can hope for.
Yeah. We should move on. Oh, there is one more thing we did want to touch on. On a sad note, it is over the summer. I'll let you talk about it because it really hits close to home for you.
Yeah, sure. So, obviously, if you've watched this before at all, you've heard me talk about racing. Started kart racing back at the beginning of this year at a local track called Capital City Speedway, and this is a new thing for me. I've been around racing a lot, but not working on race cars or karts or any of that stuff. So I've got some general mechanical knowledge, small engines, that kind of stuff, but the being on the driver's side of the racing world was very new to me and a little nerve-wracking, right? There's people there. I've been involved in competition and iRacing, and it gets intense, right? So you're walking into a group of people that know each other, and you're the new guy. And from the get-go, I didn't really know who he was or as far as his position at the track, but I led a lot of the meetings and made a point to come up and talk to me after each time we got together. We had a couple of drivers' meets before the beginning of the season and see if I had questions. I had to message him on Facebook. And I've posted about it on our Drivers Lounge page, but I'm obviously talking about Chris Beasley, who was the operations manager, and there was another title he had too, promoter for Capital City Speedway, and he passed away in a car accident. He was driving back from a big kart race in South Carolina that he was actually helping support the track down there just by being there and helping out. And his wife was helping drive home in the wee hours of the morning on the interstate on I-85 in North Carolina, and a drunk driver, an unlicensed drunk driver, hit them head on. This is on the interstate, so there's a median and all. I'm not sure how that happened. The entire family, it was him and his wife, 2 daughters, 3 daughters possibly. I'm not sure exactly. There's a name I didn't recognize. They were all transported to the hospital. All had multiple surgeries to repair internal injuries, and Chris was on a ventilator immediately and unfortunately didn't recover. And so their families, obviously very broken. Everybody at the track. Chris was, that's why I began telling that part of the story. He was exceptionally helpful to me. There wasn't any questions asked. He didn't know me, as a competitor or anything like that. He did race against, he brought out his Predator kart and raced against us one weekend just for kicks, right? So we were all out there. It's very similar to how we kind of do things here. I instantly got that sense of community, and, his drivers feed off that too, right? So not everybody's getting along all the time, but generally speaking, everybody's palling around. And I didn't have a ton of time to get him to know him one-on-one, but from the aspect I did, he was a stand-up guy, and it was obvious that all of the drivers respected him. I watched guys that had problems. They were pissed at the track, and when they might be yelling at one person or another, but when they went up to talk to Chris, they just had a conversation, and that's because Chris was listening to them. And so he made an impact on me because I saw how things were going to get run there, and I kind of knew how to handle other drivers and how to manage my temper really at the track too, because I'm watching other guys and how he handles people when they're getting upset. And so it's just a shame. Most importantly, his wife and his daughters are without a father and a husband, and so we were able to get them hooked up with the Steve King Foundation, and so they are raising funds for them. We've posted on the lounge a couple of times requesting if anybody's willing. I'll make this my kind of final request. If anybody's willing, you can go to Steve King Foundation. I think it's .org. Correct me if I'm wrong there.
Yes, I believe it is.
There'll be links. I'll make sure there's a link in the description of the video, and we've got some links on our Facebook page as well. But you can just go there. Any donations marked for the Beasley family will be 100% of those donations go to them. So anything, Dean Reynolds made a donation, and I want to say thank you for that. But he made a comment about knowing it wasn't a ton, but he hopes it helps. That's what it's about. If you can spare $5, that's $5 more, right? It helps. So if you can, that's great. If not, please just continue to pray and think about the Beasley family, because they're still dealing with injuries. They're going to continue trying to run the track. We're back at the track this weekend. Hopefully that'll be a nice tribute for Chris. I'm hoping we get to do a few things for him. So just keep them in your thoughts and prayers, if nothing else.
He was like in his 40s, right?
Yeah, I think he was 45. He was mid-40s, but I think he was 45.
Yeah.
That's a shame. He's a great guy.
Yeah, I read a couple of write-ups, and just phenomenal guy. But yeah. Just let's end it on a higher note than that, because that's it's a tragedy.
Yeah.
What happened there? But did you see where the Super Dirt series did a big article on Brian Lawson and
Butch Baker,
Isaac
Salas,
and Dean? They're all getting together and coming from all parts of North America. Stuff we've talked about doing, and guys have done at other events, and all through iRacing. And they thought that was so cool that they wrote a whole article on that. So there is a post on, I think it's on the lounge for that. Link to that article. It's pretty cool. So good on those guys. That's should be a crazy event. I know they've been bugging me to go down there. I'm almost scared to go down there with those guys. But
oh, they're gonna have you shotgun and beers, right?
Oh yeah. And Marty will be there too as well. So they're all pretty fired up about that. That should be a great event. The Oswego week. So
Super Dirt week.
Yeah. It should be great.
Well, I think we ought to. I know you've exercised a lot of self-control. I know you're anxious to go hold on to your trophies. So we'll. Okay. Well, so much for self. We got the mug.
Yeah, take it out. Take it out with this.
All right. We'll take it out with that. We appreciate you guys watching. We'll be back here for episode 77 of the Pitsdde podcast next week, and we'll catch you then. Thanks a lot.
Looking forward to it. Drive safe.